Hey everybody, Chazdix here. So the other day I found this YouTube video from when armor stand commands were first introduced, and it showed how you could like pose the armor stand and stuff, and how you could use commands and command blocks to do so. So that got me thinking. Hypothetically, you can make armor stand animatronics and animations in vanilla Minecraft. This is something I've always wanted to do. I've always been super impressed by what people on servers like Imagine Fun can do. So I played around with it for a bit and I figured it out. It's surprisingly simple, so today I'm going to walk you guys through how to do it. So I'm going to get an armor stand. Maybe get a mob head. I'll do zombie for this one. So let's get some clothes on this guy, and then we can build our little character. Alright, so there's our armor stand set up. Now this is when the more technical stuff starts. We're going to grab this name tag right here. Then all we got to do is right click on him, make sure you get every little inch there, and then we can just put that back in our inventory. Now what we want to do before any animation is only like one step. We just got to write a couple lines of code which will make this guy look more like an animatronic and less like an armor stand. First of all, we should probably give him some arms. Now some of these commands are a little long, especially for beginners, so I have them all written out for copy and pasting in the description. Basically, all this is doing is that it's getting the data from the armor stand. It's making sure we got the right one. So whatever you named your name tag, I named mine guy. Whatever you named yours, just put it right there. And then you can just put this at the end, ShowArms 1. And then there we go. The arms are now shown on our armor stand. There's a lot more parameters that you can modify before we get to animation. But I'm only going to modify 2 before we get over there. So this right here is going to turn off the base plate of our character right here. The last change I'm going to make is that I'm going to reset all the position parameters that I care about on this. So for this guy in particular, I'm going to reset his left and right arm to their base positions. And this is actually a really good introduction to positioning, which is a big part of the animation process. For now, instead of doing the entire body, I think I'm just going to set both of his left and right arms to 0. And this is what that looks like. So you can see right there, his arms just went right back down to the sides in their base positions. I could do the same for the legs and the torso and the head, but I don't really care about that right now. I kind of just want to get to animation, and I'm sure you guys do as well. Now that pose command that we just used, that's the base of all armor stand animations. Every single time you change the pose of a character, you're going to want to start with this command right here, this part right here. I already used this earlier, so you guys should know about it by now. The only thing that you really need to know now is what this means. So this pose right here, this is always going to be the same. Unless you want to do something different, I'll only be going over the pose in this, but I think there's a couple other things that you can do. What's going to change is this right here, the name of this, as well as these values right here. So this right here, this is just going to dictate which thing you're animating or changing. Now in the description, I have a list of all the things that can go here. Reading off minecraft.fandom.com, I think in total it's body, head, left arm, left leg, right arm, right leg. Those are all the things that you can modify. For the purposes of this animation, I'm just going to be animating the left arm because that's really simple. But you could get really intense with it and animate all the body parts at the same time and get like a super intricate thing. Now the last thing that we need to know before we can get to the animation part are what these 3 values at the end mean. So we already know value 1. Value 1 kind of rotates in relation to the side of the armor stand. You can see that shown when in this command block we rotate it 180 degrees. It's going to go from being down here to being up here. And there you go. Now value 2 is a little different as it rotates it in relation to the top down perspective. So when we click this button, you can see from the top down it gets rotated around that area. And finally the third value rotates it from the front on perspective. So as you can see, it's rotated to this side. Now, I haven't played around with all 3 spots for every part of the body, but I could assume that each one would probably do a pretty similar thing, if not the exact same thing. So now that we know what these 3 values do, we know what this is, we know what this is, we know what everything is. We can apply it and start animating. Now, if you guys want to see it again, this is what my animation does. It's a pretty simple looping hand wave powered by this hopper clock. That's going to get pretty annoying, so I'm going to stop that real quick. And honestly, from what we know now, it's pretty simple from here on out. So this first command block resets the values. This one gets set to -5. This one goes to -13, -45, -145, -155. -155 is the max that it reaches. It goes down to -145, -45, -10, -5, 2, and then 0. So to give you guys some sense of my logic when it comes to animation, I graphed all the values out. So this animation does a really good job of showing the ease in and ease out principles. So you can see right here for these first couple frames, they're pretty tightly packed together. It goes from 0 to 4 to 13. It's not really that big of a jump each time, but then we go to 13 to 45. In comparison to the jump from 4 to 13, 13 to 45 is giant. And then it gets even bigger with 45 to 145. So when you play this back in game, it'll give the effect that it's kind of starting slow and then speeding up as it goes. And the reason that looks good is because that's what humans do. That's the reason this animation principle works. We get another fast descent and then we slow down at the end, ending up with just a 2-degree jump between the last 2 frames. Anyways, from here on out, I can't really help you. I am by no means a genius when it comes to animation, or heck, even this. I just came up with this the other day, so it's not really anything groundbreaking, and I'm by no means an expert. But I guess I just found it interesting. If you guys find it interesting as well, make sure to like and subscribe. If you want to see more content like this, so let me know in the comments. All the copy and paste info that you're going to need is going to be in the description. Alright, see ya.